opponent breaks the contain, which almost seems inevitable, you're in a real big amount of trouble because you need something else. And you have to invest so much into the contain to make it work that it's really hard to have something else when that no longer works.
Indeed. All right, without further ado, in the top right corner, playing as the yellow Protoss, currently up 2-0, it is former Slayer's Arthur.
Here in the top left corner of the map, in the blue trunks, we have our Zerg player who's down 0-2. Can he make magic happen to come back? It is Myrault.
Oh yeah, I did it! I did the super zoom. All right, so we're gonna see. I'm kind of curious. He's not going for any super early cheese, that's for sure. He's going for very standard now. He's gonna get his Overlord. He's not even going for the extractor trick at this point. And Arthur is gonna look to do a Forge Fast expand again.
All right. So Arthur has been really showing us a very consistent style.
Yeah.
There's one thing he knows. There's one thing he likes, and that's what he does every game.
And Arthur is also learning about the changes of these chokes. He's putting the pollen as a part of his wall, and this is gonna make it very easy for him to wall off, but it's gonna give him a weak point in the wall, and that's the trade-off you're gonna have to make.
Yeah. Got a quick hatch coming up from Myrault. Nothing too cheesy coming up. I mean, if I were Myrault, I would be thinking, man, I just did that strategy twice, and it just didn't work. You just broke out and killed me. What do I do?
Yeah,
do I just do a very different style, or do I just tweak what I do?
That's a very good point. Like, you have your style that you're used to, and you usually win with it, you do well with it, and you play versus this guy, and he just seems to magically come up with an army that's just proportionately out of size from what you expect. And you're like, okay, what can I do now? This is going to be really, really difficult. Oh wow. Myrault, I think he got a little bit of regen from the creep there that helped him. But he's going for a very early gas. This is quite... Nah, actually I'll take that back. It's not that early. But he's going for not pure hatchery tech. Let's just put it that way. And that is actually something you can do sometimes. So it's very hard to say what's going to happen. This was a Forge before Nexus. Arthur's playing it safe. You have the bigger slices to wall off now, but that was good. I feel that Myrault, doing something he did versus Franskar that first game on Desert Tech, may have served him well, like getting really early 6 lengths and just trying to just run in there. They would have been there by now, but I guess Arthur could just, respond by walling off completely.
Yeah. Oh well. So we got a probe here. Doing some nasty business. These drones are not going to have it.
Oh, again, Arthur with the... I mean, Myrault with the AKA hidden third. It's not really that hidden. It's actually quite standard because if you can defend it, then you can take another main for free. So that's basically why you put it over there. And since static defense is so important and so strong in Starbow compared to StarCraft 2, you don't actually need your army to defend all the time, so you can take these bases far away and stay relatively safe.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting point. It's not something I had considered a lot. I mean, and that adds, of course, that in both Brood War and Starbow, you have a few, especially a Zerg, a few nice defensive options that allow you to defend these sort of locations with very little, instead of having to move your army between these locations. I mean, Lurkers, obviously, are a great unit for that exact situation.
Indeed. And you also have the Nidus Worms for the Hive Tech, which makes it very easy to move your army around. Now, this probe is actually just going to sneak in right as the Zerglings move out. Very nice little probe scout there from Arthur. And he's going to see the early layer again. I'm pretty sure it's going to be... Now, to be honest, if we were going to compare the last 2 games, I would say Myrault did a lot better in the last game than he did in the first game.
He did. But that was also because he was able to keep Arthur contained for longer. And... I don't know. It just seems that once Arthur breaks the contains, that's where it ends.
Yeah.
That's where the game begins to slip out of his hands. And extending the time that you have that contain, I don't know if that's the solution. But we're going to have to wait and see.
I remember this kind of play from Brewer. I would love to do this play versus Protoss myself. Just go for Tunnel Lurkers. And I think Hydra Lurker, instead of Zergling Lurker Scourge, might be easier to pick off the observers, a little bit more reliable on not just dying to a single storm if you move them around. Might serve him better, especially in Starbow where units clump up so easily when you move them around.
Yeah.
And also because you're always tempted to throw everything at one hotkey because you can.
Yeah. because we don't have limits on hotkeys.
No, or unit selections. So I think maybe I like the lurker contain, but I think maybe following it with Hydras, maybe even I'm not kidding here. Maybe even planting a hatchery right there. Actually, you don't need a hatchery in Starbow. Just putting down some overlords and put creep and get some.
What I would really like actually, I would really like if Myrault, if he's going for the same style, to go for a much quicker hive, so he can get defilers with the contain, so that once Arthur wants to start breaking it, you have this tool in Dark Swarm where you make the engagements for Arthur much more costly. So, you know, it's all well and good that you have a bigger army, but I can take so much better engagements. So by the time you get to my base, there's not a lot left.
It's gonna be. It's a good thought. It's gonna be really hard to actually go get defilers before he breaks the contain without that cutting too much into your actual contain. So it's a very tight balance.
That's
no, but it's a very interesting and nice thought. It's just pulling that off is going to be a feat. And we do see he actually is massing up a lot of Corsairs without really using them because he knows of the potential threat of the Scourges and he wants to be safe. And this is not the place to be safe. Okay, there we go. He's moving over the photon cannons. That's the place to be safe. And he has a photon cannon in his main. Now he's going to try and pick off this one Corsair. He's going to get one Scourge, but not the second one.
So that's unfortunate. Some more Scourges are going to have to be made because this number is starting to get a little bit scary.
And again, Myrault with the 4th base, and I'm questioning this 4th base that he keeps getting. He's just being on 3 base versus 2 base, and just getting the army you need is already quite good. Yeah. Now, what I do like about this is that he's not going for Lurker this time. He's actually going to go for Hydras, and he's gonna go for a lot of them. This is basically the 5 hatch, 3 base, but this time 4 base Hydra build. Yeah. And this, you can just flood your opponents with Hydras if you get the right build order going, and especially versus Reavers, this will be particularly strong. And wow, we do see Corsair Reaver from Arthur. That is actually pretty sick. That's such a hard style to play, and if anyone can pull this off, it would be Arthur, I suppose.
Oh yeah, the man with the plan, and of course with the Corsairs. Getting that awesome air dominance, and then War Prism. Yeah, it's gonna go uncontested. Oh, but now Hydra's coming in here. No lurkers whatsoever.
Kill the Forge and losing a lot of Hydras. I think just sniping some cannons would have been better there, to be honest. But meanwhile, though, okay, a lot of Corsairs. That's a lot of Corsairs. That's 8 Corsairs. They're just gonna wreck. Look how fast they kill Overlords. That's just it took 2 seconds.
Pew pew pop.
Oh
pew,
wow!
Pew, pop.
Pop the
Hydra's
balloons.
coming in here. Hey, stop throwing rocks in my house, kids.
Okay, actually got 1 hit off there. That's nice. I think.
That's pretty nice. Oh, Scourge moving a little bit out of position, unfortunately.
Turn around! Oh no. It's you have about 0.3 seconds to make a decision there.
Very, very hard to do in that spot. Big Hydra clump would be really nice to be able to hold that off, but now Arthur is going to go into the main. There's nothing here yet for Myrault, who's actually moving out on the middle of the map. The War Prism and the Reaver are going to start to go to town.
Oh, and okay, he's going to kill the Queen first. That's actually nice because that gives the drones time to get away. Losing that Queen isn't the biggest of deals. Losing all the drones would have been. And we got all the Scourges and all the Hydras. I hope the Hydras go in there first. Okay, yeah, now he's going to chase him off. But this is really nice for Arthur because this is making sure that all these number of Hydras, and that's a lot of them, isn't trying to barrel down on his front door. Which I don't know if they should anyway, but still, it gives him room to breed.
Absolutely. It's always nice if you can commit your opponent's army to somewhere you want it to go.
Yeah. Dictate the pace of the game.
Exactly.
So we have upgrades this time going from Arthur, so that's nice. He's learned what upgrades are. And, ooh, these Scourges could maybe... No, actually, having Corsairs just standing still is actually, unfortunately for game design, a really good way to counter Scourges. It's just having them stand completely still. We did some tests with it. And not moving them back and try to micro, which is not really what we want from a game design perspective, but it's what we're going to have right now, at least.
Well, it sounds like you're not quite happy about that one yet, so we may see things change.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're absolutely right earlier with the committing, or with the defining the pace of the game. Myrault is completely defensive. Arthur is the one who is now dictating where battles happen and with what units. We've got Reavers and Zealots, and this might actually be a very powerful push from our Protoss player.
This is quite insane, actually. Going for a Reaver Corsair opening doesn't really lead into a push usually. Oh, it's got a couple of Infestors now. Oh, very nice and snare. Look at that. And the attack
Hydra's coming in.
These units are going to be really slow, but still the AoE from Reavers is so strong. Very nice micro there from Myrault, and right now these Reavers need to get picked up and get out of there. If he could ensnare the War Prisms... No, he's gonna save the Reavers. Wow!
He kills all of the rest of the Hydras! The Scourgers come in and pick off some of the Corsairs. This engagement has sort of been going for blow for these players. I mean, there's some Reavers still left and some Zealots as well. It's still very, very close, though. I think Myrault might actually be able to hold without too much losses.
I think he might. And he did kill a lot of Reavers. And the use of Infestors there was actually quite sick. He should have just moved, not split, unfortunately, there. Oh, he's going to get that one. No, he's not going to get. He's going to try and get that one Reaver. Oh. There we finally go.
Reaver goes. And the Hydras are doing a pretty decent job of warding away these Zealots. Lots of them being rallied in, though. It seems like Arthur wants nothing more than to end this game now and to have it end in Myrault's defeat at the hand of Zealots and Reavers.
But Myrault is going to hold this because 7 Mutalisks are on the way, and they're going to kill the Zealots and the Reaver, but are there still Corsairs out here? No, he lost all the Corsairs.
No, that's very, very nice from Myrault. He was able to pick off those of Arthur very, very effectively indeed. Muta's coming in, the Reaver is gone. Now it's just the Zealots, and it's only a matter of time before Myrault gets control over his own base again.
The problem, though, with Mutas versus Zealots is that it just takes forever to kill them. And these Zealots aren't working their way out there. Actually, they're going to focus down the Spire, which I think is very smart. The Hive will be very difficult to break. And meanwhile, he's taking a 3rd base, and it's completely uncontested because he has to deal with his Zealots back home. Oh, he might even lose the spawning pool. That would be quite bad.
It would be. And I'm actually kind of... I think Myrault should rebuild that Spire now that he still can.
Yeah, well... Oh, I don't think you need a spawning pool to make a Spire, though.
Oh, no, you don't actually. It should be there. Yeah, but without the spawning pool, that's a lot of resources he's not going to be able to spend. We can actually see the minerals already cropping up quite high. Of course, that's also because he doesn't have as many larvae. He lost a hatchery in that fight.
And Arthur is moving a Zealot around the map, and there's really nothing to defend his 3rd and 4th base here. He just has 1 Spore Crawler. Myrault's just relying on minimal defense. Meanwhile, though, Zerling is actually going to try and deny this base. He has to storm and try and hit the Mutalisks, but he misses with the storm. And the Mutalisks can try and pick up a lot of workers there. And they can actually kill this Corsair easily as well, because there's only 1 Corsair versus this many Mutalisks.
Corsair is not good against many Mutalisks, indeed.
He's going to get it.
Oh, there we go. Corsair goes off. Nice harassment being done there by his Mutalisks, but this is all that Myrault has on the field, so he has to be a little bit careful. He can't just lose these in a blaze of glory.
Look at how Arthur pulled out workers away when he knew the Mutalisks were on the way. That's very nice. And wow, the Mutalisks just going back and forth, being incredibly annoying. There is 1 Photon Cannon there. Does Arthur know that he can Chrono Boost the Photon Cannon? I'm not sure if he does.
I'm not sure either. It's not looking like he's doing that very actively at all.
No.
Of course, now we have Myrault slowly taking back the worker lead, and this is a very good thing for him, of course. 4 on 3 base. The only thing Myrault really needs is a ground force, and then he's peachy. Yeah,
he's actually getting an Opalist Karen, but just flooding Hydras at this point, I think, is what he needs, because if Arthur chooses to push now, it's going to be a little bit scary for Myrault. And he's starting to get some Hydras. Okay, he's going to try and bait out some storms. He doesn't really have enough Mutas to bait out the storms, and not enough Hydras to contend this. Yeah, he needs to get back there. He needs to make an actual army going.
Yeah, and this is the real difficult thing about having those bases so far apart. It's going to take a while for them to get the reinforcements into one place. And with Arthur...
Oh, the War Prism with the Reavers!
Oh my goodness, that's a big hit. That's a lot of this army. There's still Storm, though. But, I mean, that's a lot easier to deal with than Storm and Reavers.
Oh,
Myrault's falling back, as he should.
Where did Arthur get all his units from? He didn't have that big of an army a couple of seconds ago. I don't understand anything.
Well, he's got like a billion gateways, and he's producing non-stop out of all of them.
Yeah,
so it's going quite well. A lot of clump up from these Hydras. These High Templar are just licking their lips, waiting for them to come down. Yeah. Oh, come on!
That storm was brutal.
Absolutely. And with the High Templar is in the lead, and the Dragoons just following up. There's not a lot that Myrault can do to stop him.
No, and Myrault, the sad thing is Myrault has the minerals and the gas, but he doesn't have the larvae, he doesn't have the macro hatches, he doesn't have enough to actually make the units. And that's...
And we see here, it's a pure macro force of Arthur is unable to be matched by Myrault with not enough hatcheries, not the hatcheries that he wants.
Imagine Arthur having those extra Reavers now. Like, the fact that he breaks this without the Reavers is actually quite impressive.
Yeah, it is. Like, he was a lot further ahead than this game, than these engagements are leading us to believe. But yeah, this we have a very powerful Protoss. He's on 3 bases. We got +2 attack, actually. Very nice for Arthur. Against the only +1 ranged attack from Myrault, and the +1 melee.
Myrault's trying to pick up reinforcements now instead of attacking the army, which is a good thought, but he just doesn't have enough to do that either. He's getting Ultralisks now, but they're just going to be late.
They're going to be late. They're going to have to deal with quite a large amount of dragoons here.
Yeah. No, Arthur just showing another level, another class. I don't know who can contend with this guy. Maybe we should get some Arthur versus Innovation show match in Starbow or something.
That'd be pretty good. Oh, Archon's in the mineral line!
Yeah, that's so
Get wrecked,
brutal.
son. Yeah, GG well played, and with a fine 3-0 victory, Arthur becomes the winner of Eurobow number 4. Very, very strong.